Tonight's presentation is about Maryland Biodiversity Project presented by Sue Muller. Sue's retired from the Howard County Department of Recs and Parks after a 40-year career in natural resources. She served as the Howard County coordinator for the Maryland Amphibian and Reptile Atlas from 2010 to 2014. She was the co-coordinator for the Maryland Breeding Bird Atlas, the third one, from 2020 to 2024, and is currently a contributing editor for the Maryland Biodiversity Project. She's been a longtime member of the Howard County Bird Club. Please welcome Sue Muller.
You told me that. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's see. Hi. This is my button. Okay. So I don't want to yell. I have a loud voice. Is this good? Okay. I'm talking softly. So hi. The energy in this room and all the different community service projects. Just this group, this club has always been just so active in contributing to anything in bird or environmental. I'm going to add another one, MVP, the Maryland Biodiversity Project. We have a fashionable shirt here in the 1, 2, 3rd row. But a couple of things before I even start. I am happy to be here. I was calling Mary Lou at the end of last week. I was in Southern California, and I was a little worried I wasn't going to get back. And that maybe should have a plan B. But I'm here, so yay. And I'm happy because this is my favorite thing to talk about these days. The last few years, it was the Breeding Bird Atlas, as Val was mentioning. And I remember standing up here last year when I did a talk on eagles and owls, and I'm telling you all, it was the first time I ever talked to this club about birds. And every other talk has not been about birds, and this one I'm going back to my normal not talking about birds. But I wanted to acknowledge Matt because he did some work while I was gone. I gave him my presentation on a thumb drive because I'm one of those people that puts lots of links in my presentation, and he had to do some magic behind the scenes that I have no clue what. I'm not a tech person, believe me. I'm a field person, I guess. And thank you for making my links work. I greatly appreciate that. And, yeah. And Sarah, while we were mentioning you, one thing on the Breeding Bird Atlas, do you realize you only worked on the Atlas 1 year? And you came in the top 10 of atlasers for Howard County. You were number 10, tied with Dave Zilkowski. Where the other applause? 1 year. She's been here all 5 years of the Atlas. It's mind-boggling.
In fact, Dave is the one who said, if you watch a bird for 5 minutes during the breeding season, you're going to see it doing something related to breeding. So I just love watching birds for 5 minutes. It was good recommendation.
I missed the Atlas, but I moved right on with it.
Pennsylvania's doing one right now.
So tonight, how many of you have never ever explored the Maryland Biodiversity Project like this? Is brand new to you? Anybody? A couple. Oh, I love it. Exciting. So my challenge is the people, because I've got some of my quad busters, which we're going to talk about toward the end of the presentation in here. I don't want to bore you guys either. So my challenge is set. And I'm going to be looking at the clock. Oh, good. I've got an hour, maybe a little less. Because Val, what time should we have to be out of here by 9? 9. So I'll try to end by 9:45 for questions, and then clearing out of here. Okay. So good. And so tonight what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about what is this thing called, I'm going to call it MVP, okay, Maryland Biodiversity Project. That's a mouthful. How it got started. We're going to look at biodiversity featuring photos from club members. Ooh, ah. And then we're going to talk about this thing called quad busting and what kind of information you can get off the website. I can talk all night, can you tell? I laugh at that. I've got some stories. Anyone who's ever heard me do a presentation, I tell stories. There's some good ones, especially that red-legged purse-wet spider coming up. So with that, let's get started. And the next, whoops, that's not the one. It's this one. There we go. So how many know Bill Hubick and or Jim Brighton? Several of you, yeah. I love these guys and I'm happy to be in their circle, as I call it. Sorry, I moved the microphone. Circle. And Bill is now, he's on the right, and he is now in California. He moved there, it was before the pandemic. And Jim is in Dorchester County. But this all started, if you're reading this, these were guys that hung out together, you know, just looking at nature, etc., good birders. And they couldn't remember the name of a plant and just got dreaming and thinking how cool it would be to have a website that had all this information for the state of Maryland of every species. And from that dream is the word they use. Yeah, based on that dream, we built a website that documents the biodiversity in the state of Maryland. Would you believe there are over species? I know some of you know this. All right, we're over 22,000 species. And when I say species, that means flowers, moths, trees, fungi, bacteria, you name it. Anything, and even humans are on it. We're going to look at a human photo, by the way, Sue. It's your photo. So with that said, let's see what's next. Okay, so I took this off their website. I'm not one who, as you can see, I don't really talk from a script. It just pours out. But this is their explanation. You know, Maryland Biodiversity Project is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, just like the Bird Club, cataloging the living things of Maryland. We promote conservation, science, and education by helping to build a vibrant nature study community. The project started in June 2012 by Bill and Jim. The incredible MVP community has cataloged more than 22,000 species to date, including more than 14,000 species with photographs, and features the work of more than 28,000 naturalists and photographers, some of them sitting in this room. Now, some of you may already be saying, well, how come there's, 22,000 species, but there's only 14,000 with photos? Well, many of you remember one of our members who passed away a few years ago, Nancy Magnuson. She was one of the editors that had a thing for entering data, and MVP has like researched papers, you know, like maybe 100 years ago. In other words, they have historic data put in here, and Nancy put a lot of that in. She put in over 50,000 records, actually, a lot. She's the #1 editor for putting in records. So that's how they get records without pictures, because these were long before, you know, people had digital cameras and all that sort of thing. So I did want to throw out a shout to Nancy, because I do miss her. I'm sure many of you do too. So let's see, what is next? Okay, this is the fun part. Let's look at biodiversity. I mentioned I was going to feature some photos of club members. So Kurt, I think you're the first one. Yes. So Kurt, give a wave. There's Kurt. This is his Eastern Hercules beetle. It's a very large beetle, and isn't that a beautiful photograph? Right here in Howard County. And Kurt has contributed records for many years into MVP. And thank you, Kurt. And I know he'll be giving us more. Am I in your way? I'm sorry, as I'm sorry. I don't do well standing behind a podium. I don't. So this is my first story. Bisected honey locust moth. So some of you may believe it if I told you I was one of those people who fly out of bed at the crack of dawn. I started work every morning at 6:15. I was the only person in the office in Howard County Rec and Parks. Sorry, I keep moving around. And so one morning I'm flying up the stairs to the office, got my key to swipe, and I'm like, what is that? It wasn't a tiny little moth. This was a big moth, and it was pinky orange. And I'm like, I've never seen that. I didn't have a camera. Oh my gosh. I honestly didn't have a smartphone in 2017. I didn't get it till 2019 because the Atlas was coming. So I had to swipe my card, go hit the alarm code. My office was the far corner, all the way down the hall. And I ran to grab the camera on the desk. Oh, please don't fly away. Come out the door. It's still there. I got the picture. And you see Bug Guide. Where's my light? Right here. Bugguide.net. wonderful place to submit insect photos where there are people who know insects and identify them for you. I immediately put it on bugguide.net. I had no clue what it was. And they probably answered amazingly at 6:20 in the morning. Somebody was out there looking at pictures in Iowa, and he said, "Oh, wow, this is a bisected honey locust moth. We were wondering when that was going to show up in Maryland." And I'm like, what? So what do? I go onto the MVP website. Let's see, can we click that link, please? And at the time, there was no species page for it. I was like, oh my gosh, I found a new species in the state. I'm like, yeah. So now there is a species page. Can we scroll it up a little bit? Oh, there we go. So one of the things I wanted to point out, every species has a species page on MVP. You can read fun things about the species. You notice, like right here, I like relationships. The bisected honey locust moth caterpillars rely on honey locust. Guess what was planted in the parking lot at Brighton Parks? Several honey locust trees. Yes. I was like, so I'm emailing Bill and Jim, guys, I got a new species for MVP. And Bill at the time worked in Columbia. I said, Bill, are you coming into the office today? Because it's still out there if you want to come over and get it. Bill came right over and got it. He got the picture too. And then, of course, don't we all like a little, what do you call it? A little pat on the shoulder. I like seeing my name right there. First record found in Columbia, Maryland by Sue Muller in July 27. I know you're all laughing. It could be you. That's my point. It's amazing. Slime molds, things like that. A few plants. We're going to look at a plant we got in a little bit. Let's see. Let's go to the next one then. Whoops. Okay, let's scroll back down. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the. I'm sorry. That's the PowerPoint.
You're good.
Oops.
Yep.
Getting used to this. No worries. Oh, beautiful. Okay, so now I hit it, and there we go. Okay, so blue velvet spread. Hi, Bob and Joe. I think you're out there watching on Zoom. I, like many of you, have hung out with Bob and Joe through the years, and I learned most everything I know about fungi from Bob and Joe. And when I saw, not this picture, but I saw, maybe it was that picture, because this is Joe Solom's photo of blue velvet spread. I became obsessed with wanting to see that fungi species. It's been more than a decade. Would you believe, just before I left for California the week before, I saw it. And what did I do? I called up Joe to tell her, Joe, I saw blue velvet spread. So that's Joe's photo. And that was Howard County. And oh, there we go. So now Ken Clark is another club member, and he's got a curling match tonight. I can't believe he's curling and not here as I toast him. You remember in the Breeding Bird Atlas how excited we would be when you got a baby cowbird being fed by a towhee because you confirmed two birds breeding at once? Well, here's a photo with two species at the same time. So we've got the northern river otter. That's an easy one to identify. Fish. I'm personally not really good at identifying fish, but we do have people on MVP who do fish. And we're able to get that identified as a bluegill. So, and then it also shows that the river otter preys on bluegill, that kind of thing. What do these animals eat? So it's all about citizen science research, get a photo like that. Woo-hoo. And that one was in Prince George's County. And oh my gosh, here's another story. Pygmy pipes. Who's heard of pygmy pipes? Well, okay, I would believe you, yeah. So Emilio Concari, let's see, where's Emilio? Right there. He was the last intern I had while I was working, and he was my COVID intern, 2020, and so I had to switch up his internship a little bit in the end, but he's an amazing naturalist. He does work for DNR now, and the Bird Club actually sponsored his internship with a stipend, and so he calls me up one day, hey, Sue, I found pygmy pipes. Pygmy what? I didn't know it, never heard of pygmy pipes, right? So what's the first thing I do? He was probably still on the phone with me. I'm typing in pygmy pipes into MVP. And what did it say? It was extirpated in the state of Maryland. I'm like, Emilio, this is supposed to be extirpated. You need to take me to see this. We need to do a count and verify it, blah, 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 blah. I think the next day I was out there with him and we found several plants. Called DNR. DNR went out to see this. And now we have a species page that, let's hit that link. I'm sorry, I'm sitting here trying to hit it myself. And so this is a plant, if you're familiar with ghost pipes or Indian pipes, a plant with no chlorophyll. It has that beautiful violet color, and it really is only that tall, roughly. And it's in the leaf litter, and you hardly notice it. And it's curled over like that, at least all the ones I saw. And so now, so where to find, considered nearly extirpated in Maryland, so small it may be hidden in leaf litter on the forest floor. So his finding of this species was like, wow, and got everybody excited. And I'm not positive, but I think DNR went back out to the old Calvert County site. Somebody found it in Calvert County again. So now there are two populations that are two populations. And I get these, what I call search images when I see the habitat and what is, association, what it's growing with, etc. And I went looking like High Ridge Park, North Laurel Park were the same kind of plant community. I never found any, but I was hopeful. Hey, you could be the one to find them. You just got to look down. Whatever birds are up there, but you could listen, when you're looking for pygmy pipes. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. And then let's see, tree. Oh, so here's another one of our club members here, Sue Probst, and another one of those twofers, right? I told you early on, human is one of the species of the more than 22,000 species in Maryland, and human is the most influential species on the whole planet. I think everybody would agree with that. But look who's up here. I know I said I wasn't talking about birds, but she's got this tree swallow up there while she's monitoring the boxes. Is this Belmont? Yeah, Belmont. She's been monitoring boxes there for years. And so, again, she got the tree swallow and a human in the same photo. Ooh, ah. Ooh, ah. Okay, now Clayton Kuntz is not in here. I hope you're out there on Zoom tonight, Clayton. If you are, here's your pipeline swallowtail. I asked him for permission to put it in the PowerPoint. We have a very active butterfly survey team here in the Bird Club for you new people. And Mary Lou, Kevin is speaking in January, correct? Yeah. Yeah. Kevin Heffernan will have the annual butterfly survey review at the January meeting. It's always very well attended. We've been doing the butterfly survey for like 12 years, and you may want to get involved, just even butterflies in your own yard without going and adopting a meadow somewhere. It's that simple. You never know what might show up in your yard, seriously. Well, let's click that. I forget why I put that on there. Oh, I know why. Let's stay down. So, up. Swallowtails, if I click, can you click right here, Papilionidae, if I said that name right, there we go. And now scroll up. So you see we've got 3, 6, 7, 8 swallowtail species. So you're trying to decide, oh my gosh, which one is it? You may not know. And you may not think you want to take the time to click on every single one of them and look at their pictures. You just enter it maybe at the family level, which is Papilionidae. I don't do Latin very well, sorry, but this one right here. Because you can get this information on MVP, right? I always go look at the genus and then the family to see how many species there are when I'm trying to identify something. So I think that's why I put that there. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. He's wonderful, isn't he? Oh, Connie. Connie, give a wave. We all saw Connie get awarded this evening already. Imagine I see this photo. She's got a bat roosting in a barn swallow nest. I'm like, I never heard of such a thing. So the first thing I did was I sent it to Dr. Ed Gould, who lives in Columbia. I know he's been a member of the club. I'm not sure if he still is, but he's my mammal guy. He's done many a bat survey, probably back in the like 50s, 60s, 70s, etc., to identify it. And I was like, Ed, it was in a barn swallow nest. He said that was really common. Did you all know that? I had no, come on, my job was natural resources. I have a degree in wildlife management. I'm in the field day and night, literally. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. Duh. Who knew? Connie, that was such a fabulous photo. Thank you. And again, did you enter the barn swallow nest as a barn swallow? You could.
I should have.
Yeah, just saying. So, Connie, there we go. Love it. Oh, and Megan. Megan is here. Right, give a hot, yeah. So Megan gets this eastern king snake. I've never, how many of you have seen a king snake before? Yeah, very few. I haven't either. I am so envious of you, Megan. I'm one of those people like the most wanted fungi was the blue velvet spread. I need to come up with a new one now. That's my most wanted reptile for 15 years, ever since the Reptile Amphibian Atlas. I have never seen it. And that was in Worcester County. Okay, so I got that right. And by the way, these two ladies are on my quad busting team, which I'm going to talk about at the end to try and inspire some other people to join my quad busting team. Anyone else here on my quad busting team? I'm forgetting. Okay. Ken is, but he's curling. Yeah. I think he's going to watch this later. Mary Maxey, I think, is out there. Hi, Mary. Mary is on my quad busting team. There we go. So I wanted to feature Japanese hops. Why would I feature Japanese hops? Well, let's click the link, please. So what I like about this, we can stay just right there. MVP, when you go to a species page, there are tags. This section right here. You notice non-native invasive. When I find something new I've never seen before, almost always, that's the first thing I want to know. Is it a native species or is it non-native? I do. That's the biologist in me. I get excited when they're native and, oh gosh, it's not native, it's a letdown. But so that was the reason I featured that picture, and it was a lovely picture of Japanese hops, but it grows a lot along the Potomac River. I can tell you, I've done a lot of surveys along the Potomac, and it's all along the banks. It's pretty sad. And I wonder what native wildflowers and stuff would be there if the Japanese hops wasn't. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. And let's see, that's my turn. There we go. Okay, Fowler's toad. So let's well, before we do that, real quick, here in Howard County we have Fowler's toads and American toads, and we tell them apart. Whoops, I meant the light. There we go. By the number of warty spots inside the big dark spots. If they've got like 3, 4, 5 warty spots, it's a Fowler's toad. And if it only has 1 or 2, it's an American toad. But an easier way is, now let's go to the website, because I want to point out on the MVP website, you can hear. Let's scroll up a little bit, and then let's hit this right there. Yep. Listen. Not very loud. Okay. Good enough. Yeah, that didn't come out as loud as I had hoped. But you can, go home and click any frog or toad you want to hear. And there's the recording of all the amphibians, frogs and toads on their website. So I think that's cool. Okay, now back to these, really working overtime here. Back to now here's my favorite story coming up because I saw the picture already. I have 2 favorite stories. This is only one of them. I'm not telling the other one in this presentation. Folks, this is the story. And those of you who got my email when I was working, you've heard this already, although it was a few years ago. It was July 4th of 2020. Ken Clark and myself wanted to work on the breeding bird atlas. Remember, COVID is raging all over the world. We didn't want to walk on the Patuxent Branch Trail where people weren't wearing masks and maybe coughing in our face, etc. So let's walk in the river. And we did. We walked down the river the whole morning and we documented Louisiana water thrush babies and the flycatcher that hangs its nest by the river. I've forgotten these things already. Yeah. And so when it came time to getting out of the river, Ken just walked under the bridge. I was parked on Murray Hill Road. Ken walked under the bridge because his house was just up the hill. So I go up the bank to my car, pop the hood. The bio geek, okay, the chest waders, the dorky hat, snake hook camera, but you get it, you get the deal. And a family of 4 pulls up on the other side of the road. Mom, dad, and 2 little boys, probably 3 and 5, 4 and 6, roughly. And the dad was curious what all this garb was, what was I doing, you know? So I started to tell him about the breeding bird atlas. And hey, if you got a bluebird box in your yard for the nest, you can contribute, you know, blah, blah. Daddy, look at that spider. It's got red legs. I want to catch it. And he tells little Desmond, go to the car and get your net. The kid comes back with this little fishing aquarium net, you know, and he starts, I'm right-handed, he starts slapping the ground, trying to, and I'm like, oh, he's going to kill it. And I'm like, Desmond, oh, could I take a picture of your spider? Let's use iNaturalist and see if we can identify it. So I get down there, I'm showing my naturalist, I take the picture, and I'm trying to distract him, you know, and showing him, oh, it's a red-legged purse-swept spider. I've never heard of one. And I'm watching, it's getting away, Daddy, it's going to cross the road. I'm like, oh, little Desmond, no worries, I'll help it across the road. Folks, I helped that spider go across the road. Now let's open up the link. So long story short, when I get home, I put it up on the screen on my computer and pull up the MVP website because I got to identify it and make sure that is a correct ID. And what's up here? Maryland endangered. A state endangered spider. I stared at my screen and I said, I helped an endangered spider cross the road. And then I said, how does anyone know a spider is endangered? I have no, mind-boggling to me. And yes, I helped that spider go across the road. Is that a story or what? Gosh darn truth. I love telling that story. Can you tell? That's why I say it could be you. Next time you see a spider, get a picture of it. You never know what you might. I had in our quad busting series at Fort Foote, which is down by National Harbor, I had a new spider species on a cannon there. It's a Civil War fort and it has cannons from the Civil War. I got a new spider from MVP. I was like, wee, but I didn't know until I got home. I just take pictures when I'm out in the field, right? Okay, so let's go back now to this. Okay, so I think it might be done. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how we map. Oh, I am really talking. How do we map these species on MVP? If you remember in the Breeding Bird Atlas, we use 10 square mile blocks, right? Like right now we're sitting in Clarksville Center East. And the big maps we used were called USGS quadrangle maps, which stands for United States Geologic Survey. They made all these maps. We see all these rectangular maps. There's 260 of them across the state of Maryland. They're all across the United States, but in Maryland, only 260. That probably, I'm not sure if that counts the ones in the water or not. That doesn't matter, it's only a handful. And each one of these has a name. Like I said, we're in Clarksville. So then in the Breeding Bird Atlas, we broke these quads up into the 10 square mile blocks. You had northwest, northeast, center west, center east, southwest, and southeast. Ring a bell, folks who are atlasing? Well, MVP doesn't map to the block level. We only map to the quad level, okay? When they first started this project, Bill and Jim, they actually only mapped everything to the county level. I'm not sure, I meant to ask Bill what year it was probably only a couple years into the survey, started in 2012, that they started with the quad maps, you know, a much more narrow range than the whole county. And so when you're home, you can go on to MVP, and I'll show you that at the end. The quad maps where you can find them and, blow them up and decide, what quad do you live in, and then how you find what kind of species have been documented in your quad. Isn't this fun? I'm addicted. That's all I can say. It's kind of like the breeding bird atlas. I was addicted to that. So data is collected using iNaturalist app on your phone. How many do not use iNaturalist? Okay, wow, that's a much smaller number than I thought. Well, that's actually good that most of you use iNaturalist. Wow, that doesn't tell me about you folks out there on the Zoom meeting, but I put this. You can go to the website, sure. Oops, did I do that? Oh, no. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. So iNaturalist is an app you put on your phone. There's two ways to use it, and we're not going to get heavy into iNaturalist because that's not what this program is about. I'd need another hour, and y'all fall asleep probably by then. You see it says you sign up. Oh, there we go, right here. Like anything else, you got to create a username and password. You young people are fine with that, yeah. Some of us old farts get a little tired of another account. Well, I did it, and I'm really resistant about creating accounts, let me tell you. So if you want to participate, you really need to do this. And you can submit photos from the field. When you open up the app, there's just this little plus sign, and it asks you three things. Do you want to record a sound, like you have a bird singing or a frog calling? Or do you want to take a picture? Or do you want to take a picture out of your gallery that's already on your phone? And you can submit it that way. That's not what I do. I take hundreds of pictures any outing I'm on. And some of you in here probably do the same. And then I take them all home. I'm not a photographer. I'm not like Bonnie Ott or Guy, thank you. I'm looking right at him, and you look like a friend of mine, Brooks, and I'm thinking, Brooks, no, that's not Brooks, it's Guy. Thank you. And my philosophy is take, 10 pictures of the same insect. One of them probably is going to turn out good. And I want to remind you all that we don't need what I call National Geographic cover photos to enter on iNaturalist. But I will tell you, a blurry bald eagle with your cell phone probably can be identified by experts. We're going to talk a little bit more about how to take a picture. So actually, I'll stop that train of thought for now. But that, there's the website, and this presentation will be on the county website with all the other presentations. And that way you'll have the website if you need it to explore. So let's go back to the PowerPoint, and let's see what's next. Submit photos using iNat. I took this off their website. I'll read it out loud. Like I said, I hate a script. iNaturalist is an online social network of people sharing biodiversity information to help each other learn about nature. MVP embraces iNaturalist as a powerful tool for data collection and collaborative learning and identification. We encourage our thousands of Maryland contributors to report observations to iNaturalist and automatically ingest hundreds of expert verified records each day. Yes, in the beginning, we entered photos via Flickr. Now Bill, he's quite an amazing guy when it comes to computer knowledge. He created some way to ingest the records from iNaturalist, and it works a lot quicker and a lot less work for editors, putting these records into MVP. More info than you need, but so yeah, iNaturalist is really, really cool. Very, very cool. Okay, so this was the photo tips. Yeah, so fungi. How many times am I looking at pictures on iNaturalist and there's a mushroom? Okay, they just take the cap. Well, what's it look like underneath? Is it gilled? Does it have pores? What is it growing on? Is it growing on a rotting log? Is it growing in a mulch bin around a tree? And a bunch of wood chips? Is it growing in the lawn? On a tree, a pine tree or a deciduous tree? In other words, there's a details section on iNaturalist, and it's very important, especially with fungi, to give these kind of details because there are a couple fungi that look alike, but one grows on a pine tree and the other grows on a deciduous, and nobody's going to identify it if they don't have that information. So it's a learning curve as you, experiment with iNaturalist or you use it more than you've been using it, et cetera, et cetera. Oh yeah, does it bruise when it's squeezed? I learned that from the Solums. Sometimes you squeeze a mushroom and it'll change its color, like turn black immediately, or and you have to be careful, like if you're in a national park, remember you're not supposed to collect or do anything like that. So I'm just saying that it's not always okay to just pull the mushroom up out of the ground and tip it over and, oh, look, it's gills, and then take a picture of the gills, because technically you're not supposed to do that in a national park. So I'm just saying. Then wildflowers. Oh gosh, yes, you see a beautiful flower. Doesn't everything in the woods just look green? And then I'll say, whoa, there's a blue flower over there. Ooh, boom, there you are, taking a picture of the flower. But sometimes we need to know, like, are the leaves opposite on the stem? Are they alternate on the stem? Do they have teeth on the leaves? Are they smooth? We take pictures of the top of the leaf and the bottom of the leaf if possible, because there might be hairs along the mid vein. These are things that can help identify flowers and trees. But some of them, obviously, I don't know, like chicory is a roadside weed. That I just take the flower, but that's because I know that. But there are certain families like asters, daisies. It's very helpful to have the leaves and all that stuff. So if you don't know all that stuff, it's yes, train yourself to take pictures of all parts of the plant. And then the tree, I'm gonna make sure I don't step on anything here. I step back and I get the whole tree because, like, let's see, Nyssa sylvatica, that's the Latin name. The trees are out like right angles from the stem. They don't go down and like on a pin oak, the bottom branches are aimed down while they, start going up the farther up the tree. So things like that help experts identify your photos. That's all I'm saying. And birds, I kind of touched upon this. Yeah, you got a bald eagle up in the tree. Your cell phone, yeah, okay, it's not a National Geographic cover photo, but I or someone else can identify it. But if you got a little warbler, yeah, so I had a Tennessee warbler, and I'm looking at the picture, and all I see are trees and leaves. I'm like, where's the bird? I'm probably not going to look at your photos anymore. Not that you don't know how to take a photo attitude, but I'm a volunteer. It's all volunteer time, just like being in the bird club. Our president isn't paid. Our AV guy isn't paid to do all this work, etc. It's a passion. It's just out of love of the environment, conservation, science, you name it. And I'm not going to waste my time looking at somebody's pictures that I'm sorry, all the birds are like, where are they? I've looked at 3 or 4 of your pictures. I can't see any bird done. Just saying. But you can record the song. Remember I mentioned that earlier? So the bird is singing. Don't waste your time trying to get a picture of it. Record it. It's that easy. And of course, I carry a real camera like a lot of people in here do. John, you have a big camera. And, when I realized maybe having what I call a real camera, the kind that hang off your shoulder, maybe it's not in your budget, or you're just not into it that much. And okay, I'll take pictures too. Maybe a bug with my cell phone or a flower. That's cool. Every little bit helps. Okay, enough of that. What can you learn from MVP? Gosh, I've been talking about this all night, so let's keep going on a roll here. Yes, dandelions. What a species to pick, right? The first presentation I ever saw about MVP was given by Jim and Bill, and it was probably back around 2014. I'm thinking I was with Helen Metzman, who's a member. We went to a library in Montgomery County, and for some reason, I think it was the Native Plant Society, maybe. But I remember Jim talking about dandelions. Did you know there's 2 species, right? So you see, this one has reddish brown, and this one's greenish brown, right? Do you see distinctly 2 different color seeds? Yeah. I never knew that, right? Like I say, the things you learn on MVP. So when you've got a dandelion blooming in your lawn, I do, because I don't use any weed killers. I welcome the flowers. But if I were to put common dandelion in iNaturalist, you really can't tell that because it's not in seed yet. So you just put it at the genus level. And let's put the link. I'm sorry, I did put the link. Let's see why I did that. Oh, a little farther. Now I know why I did that, because he put right in here. A lot of times in the description, you will see it tells you right there, differentiating between the two dandelion species should only be done while the dandelion is in fruit. Tells you that right there, right? So always you can learn something just by looking at a species page. It's cool. Not every species has something. Again, it's all volunteer time to update these pages, and but there's a lot of information out here. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. Are you getting tired of this
No,
yet?
it's all good.
Okay, good. Gosh, leaf miners. Yeah, wow. I forgot I put this in there. So leaf miners, I never knew about leaf miners until I really got heavily involved in Maryland Biodiversity Project. And I apologize, I forget how many leaf miner species there are. There's thousands. I know that. I don't know if it's tens of thousands, hundreds of, I don't know. But when you find leaf miners, this is where a bug laid its egg, and the little larvae mine through the leaves. And usually they're specific to a plant or a family of plants, right? Like in the case, this is American holly. It's a pretty easy. Next time you see an American holly tree, go around looking for some leaf mines on it. You'd be surprised. And the one thing we need with leaf miners, this is the top of the leaf and then the bottom of the leaf. We have a super, super expert, Charlie Eisman, who's literally written a book that's probably like that thick on all the, I want to say North American. I mean, it's
also has a blog.
A blog also. There we go. It's mind-boggling that this one person was just so fascinated with leaf miners and made it his mission to identify all these species and put it in a book and a blog. And I'm happy, I usually can get it to the family level, and I'll enter them as family, and it'll ask you what species, because that's very important with leaf miners. And if you don't know what the species is, make sure you take a picture of the whole plant and the leaves, because chances are Charlie does know. And he's amazing. I don't know how he does it all. So that was it for leaf miners. Fall bird counts. Yeah, let's go to this one. The MVP, we always hear about spring bird counts and everything. So back in let's go up if it tells us, it was 2021, I think, was the first one at Turkey Point, which is Cecil County. And then the other one started, I think, the following year, maybe a year more, in Allegheny County, which is Dan's Rock. And actually, let's go a little far. Yeah, everybody recognized one of our members, Josh Ward, right here. He was the counter last fall at Dan's Rock. Yeah, and he's back in college now. I'm working on a master's in Virginia, I think. Maybe you're out there, Josh. Hi. Yeah, so MVP has supported this now. These are going to be annual counts, and they actually hire somebody to do them and pay for their housing. And this comes from donations. Like any club, there's a donation tab, on the home site if you want to make a donation to MVP. And yeah, they've gotten some cool information, and they're on the blog every day. They count from August 1st to November 30th, I think. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the top. Oh yeah, there we go. August 1st to November 30th. So 4 months every fall, these two counts will be done. And obviously we can compare the data from year to year to year, what's been found. So very, very cool for bird people. Hey, I mentioned birds at the bird club meeting. Yes, indeed. Okay, so now let's go back to the PowerPoint. And let's see. I think I'm probably gonna, I need to speed up. John Hall made this, featuring our different bird counts, but this will be on the website if you want to look at it. Top plant, I wanted to give a shout out to the Maryland Native Plant Society. Any members in here? Really? I am. I'm surprised, actually. Okay. Well, let's click that link, please. So again, they have what's called the Maryland Plant Atlas, just like a breeding bird atlas, a amphibian reptile atlas. They're mapping the distribution of plants across the state of Maryland, and they are like MVP using quad maps, and we exchange information. And they have come up with this list of top 10 by quad. So Alexandria, you just right here, you would click that and all the quads would come down and you would pick whatever quad you're interested in. Just so happens this year in my quad busting series, we worked on the Alexandria quad. How nice, because it was always the first quad. And I look at this and I'm like, how did we miss Bird's Eye Speedwell? And that's like, really, we missed that one? We did look for skunk cabbage in many a wet area. Couldn't find it. I'm in Deptford, I don't know. I'm looking at some of these and like, how did we miss those? We did a lot of surveys in Alexandria quad this year. So I just want to point that out. If you find out what quad you live in, like if we're here in Clarksville. Let's do that one more time. And go to Clarksville. Oh, right there.
There it is.
Yep. That's loblolly pine, and it'll tell you on the website how they determine these top 10. I think it's based on like what's around them and the other quads kind of thing that have been documented. But if you lived in this quad, you could be like, well, wow, I'm going to look for some of these plants, or I know where slender wood oats is or something, whatever. So I'm just saying you can explore. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint and let's see. Join the MVP. Here we go. This is who I am and what I do. So when I was done with the breeding bird atlas, it was okay. Now what am I going to do? It's not like I had to give it much thought. I realized there were some quads that had little data. It was the breeding bird atlas that took me to Fort Foote, which is just below National Harbor in the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, you would think. But it's like a 70-acre national park. Some of the trees are 100 years old. There's a marsh, there's lots of forest edge with flowers. The pollinators, they were amazing. We found endangered and rare dragonflies there. Like I mentioned, a new spider species on a cannon. And we came up to let's see what that is, the link, please. Okay. So let's move it up to the top right there. So I came up with this idea. So January was joining the 2025 MVP quad busting team. And like I say, we got some members here. And basically what I did is schedule field trips to these different quads that I had picked and divide and conquer. And we go out with our cameras and we document anything and everything we can find and put it on iNaturalist. And when we started this, I'm thinking there were less than 350 species in this quad, which I found, as I said, the summer before at the end of the breeding bird atlas. And there's a beautiful eagle nest there. Oh, that won my heart. Not to mention the big trees and etc. And we found a new rust species. So yeah, the goal was 1,000 species in the Alexandria. It also included Oxen Hill Farm, which is a national park if you've ever been there. So we would do the morning. I see people shaking their heads. Yeah, so we spent the mornings at Fort Foote and the afternoons at Oxen Cove. People could come half a day or the whole day. Oxen Cove had bathrooms. Fort Foote didn't, so yeah, but amazing biodiversity between both of those places. It just blew my mind. And why isn't anybody out here surveying? So I brought the team out. We hit 1,000 species this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I don't have the final report will be on the blog next week if you want to check out the blog here on MVP. So okay, let's go back. I gotta move along here. Quad busting, we'll skip most of this. There's a new spider. There was the rare ringtail. New species, that was the rust on the genus Elephantopus, which is Elephant's foot, a kind of, I think there's 2 or 3 species in that genus, but that rust right there on Elephantopus. This was the new flower found at Oxon Hill, Midwestern Arrowhead by John Hall. So now, okay, this is my last slide, but it's about the website, and we're going to take maybe 5 minutes to try and show you some fun things that I haven't mentioned yet. And this is where I have a little cheat sheet of what I want to look at first. So let's see. So up here at the top where it says search all taxa, can we type in fiery searcher? Who's heard of a fiery searcher? Young guys, look at you.
Did I spell that right?
Fiery, yes, and fire.
F-I-E-R. F-I-E-R.
Oh, yeah, ER, sorry. Thank you all. Fiery searcher, there we go. Now you can, just click on fiery searcher now. And so it's a beautiful beetle. It's a big beetle. This was the first species I ever entered on iNaturalist. If you remember back in 2014, I think it was, the MOS conference was in St. Mary's County. And Bill Hubick was there, and we were on the same field trip, and we were on a boardwalk. I was like, Bill, look at that beetle. It's huge. He's, Sue, it's a fiery searcher. Get a picture. You got to enter that. It's a county record. I was like, whoa. Got a picture. And then he said, be careful. It's addictive. And then it's in a tree. And did I mention I don't get paid a dime? This is just out of love of this. And so that was my first entry. So I saw the thing. Now next, let's go down. Now we're up. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So again, search all. You'll love this. Let's do B as in Bob, A, E, A. Look at that, bald eagle. You know how we bird people use the 4-letter codes? This is a new improvement, I believe, as of this year. You no longer have to type out like ruby-throated hummingbird, olive-sided. You just do the 4-letter code, and the bird will pop up. You can hit it if you want. What the heck? Or a bald eagle.
There it is.
Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. And then if you go down, I was looking at this earlier today, and I mean, I know it's off the 2007 is when this bird came off the endangered species list. It's been almost 20 years. That was one of the most influential birds of my career path as a kid. I couldn't see it, or my state bird, the bluebird in New York. It just bothered me, and it just, I was going to save the world, save wildlife, whatever. Okay, so now let's go back to the home. I want to go back to the main site. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So now let's go to scroll. Let's keep going down. Here we go. When you go home sometime this week, or when we have a snowy blizzard and you're what do I do, or it's cold and chilly, you'll want to, if you didn't already see it on Maryland Outdoors, a wonderful segment on NBP. Yeah. And Jim did a fabulous job with it. The blog, you'll see stuff about all the bird reports. They do them daily or every couple of days in the fall bird count. And then in this, probably in the winter, all the blog posts are usually from me about quad busting because the bird count is over. And so let's go to back up to the top. Let's go to Explore. Let's look at Maryland Quad Map, the first one right there. Yep. And then, so again, here's I told you could go onto the website and figure out where you live, what quad, because then if you run that finger, it tells you what quad it is, and you can use your fingers on your computer to blow it up, to see the roads closer. Yeah, and you can figure out where you are. We're right here in Savage. We're in Clarksville. Next one. If you blow it up a smidgen more, you'll see Robinson Nature Center is listed on it.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, there you go. That's where we are right now, where that tree is. And then, so let's go back, back to home. Yeah, and let's scroll down to the pictures again. One more. And so here's field trips. We won't probably click these on because of the time, but field trips is where you would see where I announce my quad busting trips. That's a bio blitz. That one was out in Garrett County, where my second favorite story is about a bear. I'm not telling that one tonight. We do a bio blitz every year where we descend upon a place for 24 hours, a real bona fide bio blitz. We run lights all night long for insects because the black lights attract all the moths and beetles, and oh my. I can come back from bio blitz with well over 1,000 photos. It's mind-boggling. It takes all week to go through them and identify them, but it's fun. I'm retired. That's what I like to do. It's my happy place. And I want it to be your happy place. Is it working?
Yeah.
The bird counts, they also have their own, you can click that on and see all their blogs and everything. Recent discoveries, this is where you can see what new species have been found this month. And clearly in the winter time, like November, I think I looked today, there are only 2 species on it. You're not going to find as many in the winter as you will like in spring and summer. And a lot of the new species are usually insects, but definitely we get some fungi and plants once in a while, etc. And then, so I probably should stop. And we should probably open up for questions. I thought I might alternate between the audience and people at home on Zoom. I don't want to leave you people out because I appreciate y'all being here. And so, like I said, I hope I've inspired some of you to think about taking pictures of whatever's in your yard, if nothing else, or better yet, joining me on a quad busting trip. We won't start them probably till March, but if you need help using iNaturalist, I have cards here with my email address. I'm happy to give you. And hey, the winter, if things are slow, I'd be more than happy to meet with you and give you a one-on-one on iNaturalist. And probably in the spring, we'll do the City Nature Challenge again. We did at the community gardens last April. Probably do that again for the club and, and so on. So anyway, questions? Let's see if anybody here in this audience. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Is it on?
did you have one in the back there? Check. I need some water too. I got water. I'm gonna drink while you're asking your question.
So, 2 questions, but
Yes.
the people who are adopting plots and planting native plants around, then somebody else comes back and says, "Oh, I found such and such." Does that matter how they got there?
Oh, that's an excellent question. Thank you so much. I can't believe I didn't even mention that. When it comes to taking pictures for MVP, anything that's like a landscape planting, that doesn't count. That's not natural. And people who plant native plants in their garden, that's not natural. You put them there. So technically on iNaturalist, you can tag them as like a landscape or something like that, not wild or something like that. Yes. Very
Cultivated.
Yeah, cultivated. It will say cultivated, and that's where you would click it's cultivated. And then it will not get ingested into MVP. Very good question. Thank you. Let's see anybody in the chat there. No? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am?
Would this,
Wait a minute for the microphone.
oh,
Yeah.
would the MVP tell us where the pawpaw trees are?
MVP tell you, I can tell you they're all along the C&O Canal. She wants to know if MVP will tell you where, because I'm not sure that was loud enough. That the and there's some in Savage, where all the pawpaw trees are. It tells you to the quad level. You'll see that yes, the Savage quad has pawpaw trees. But what you would have to do if you really wanted to know where they're, I see where you're going. Then you've got to start clicking on the records and looking at them and looking at the maps to see where the people took the picture. Now, when it comes to rare, threatened, endangered species, those will automatically be like, what do you call it? Obscured. Thank you. Again, that word was just not coming out. You all finish my words for me. Those are automatically obscured to prevent people from collecting. And I should also point out when you put turtles, this is good. Turtles and snakes, I always recommend obscuring those, you can obscure locations on iNaturalist. It will not automatically obscure a rat snake or a garter snake, because people collect them for the pet trade, etc. And it's just like owls. Y'all who were working with me on the breeding bird atlas, how many times did I, if you find an owl nest, please contact me first before you go putting it out to the world. And I would usually advise you, please don't put that eBird checklist in until August when the babies have left the nest. We don't want 100 people coming and harassing those baby owls. You know what I mean? Everybody wants that National Geographic cover photo that you just got. You got the beautiful little owls sitting. When I was working, I remember, I don't know what volunteer called me. You all know the barred owls at Dorsey Hall, right? Somebody called me, hey, Sue, I'm standing on the bridge, on the Plum Tree Pathway, and you know where those barred owls are? Oh, yeah, down by this tree. Yeah, well, there's a man standing underneath the tree. He's got his tripod set, away from the tree, and he is standing under the tree with the button in his hand, and he is slapping the tree. The owl was in the hole trying to make it come out for a flight shot. That's why I am very protective of these nests. I don't begrudge anybody the right to take a photograph, but most birders stayed on the bridge and photographers and took their picture from a safe, acceptable distance. It is not okay to stand under the tree and harass the bird and slap it to try and get that National Geographic cover photo. So I'm going to say about that. I forget how I got on that. Any other questions? We have one in the back there. Nowhere in the chat. Okay.
Thank you for your presentation. It's fascinating. Someone who's new to Maryland, and what a great introduction to get. Is there an element of empathy that might assist in identifying invasive species and how they're competing with target protected species, whether plants, birds, animals?
I'm not sure I'm understanding the question.
I'm seeing a lot of invasives.
Yes.
In species that are, it's almost a monoculture at certain levels. And I'm wondering if I were to take my time to try to make an effort to assist something that's being displaced, how would I know how to do that? How would I use MVP or some other resource to do that?
That Japanese hops again.
Okay.
This one?
Yeah, up in the search all taxa,
Yeah.
right? I put my this long box. Yeah, right there. There we go. Japanese hops. There we go. Fourth one down. Okay. So you remember, first of all, you can tell if something is really invasive, right? Non-native and invasive. Then go here. Okay, let's see what the description says. Just single by the other one. And it's right here. Okay. Well, that was a poor example. Some of them descriptions will tell you that something is, overcrowding everything. It's I can't think of the words I want to use. Sorry. I don't know if that answers your question. Like you want to try and control something somewhere. If you're in like a county park, your best bet would be to contact the county park agency.
You typed in garlic mustard in there.
And garlic mustard. Let's try that one. Good one. Garlic mustard. Garlic mustard aphid. That's interesting. I need to look at that. I've never tried that. Yeah. All right. Now let's go up to the description and see what it says. Oh, this is one. Oh, no, it has no description. I didn't show you the seasonality charts either, which are fun, where you can see where most of this is when it's blooming. So this is what the most get documented. These are people who know the leaves. But anyway, it's 5 of and we need to clear out of here in 5 minutes. So
Thank you very much, Sue.
We put these on the table and people can just grab them if you don't have I didn't put my phone number on there because this is going on the World Wide Web.
Thank you all
You
for
know what I
coming.
mean?
Next week's speaker or next month's speaker will be Roshan Vigner. Roshan. Vigner's. What is your last name? Vignaraja. Roshan Vignaraja will be speaking about the World Series of Birding. Thank you.